Representative George Santos expelled from the House. The House voted on Friday to expel Republican Representative George Santos of New York after a critical ethics report on his conduct that accused him of converting campaign donations for his own use. He was just the sixth member in the chamber's history to be ousted by colleagues. The vote to expel was 311 to 114. Expulsion requires support from two-thirds of the House, a purposefully high bar, but a blistering House Ethics Committee report that accused Santos of breaking federal law proved decisive. As it became clear that he would be expelled, Santos placed his overcoat over his shoulders, shook hands with conservative members who voted against his expulsion and departed the House chamber. House Speaker Mike Johnson, ALA, soon took the gavel, quieted the chamber and solemnly instructed the House clerk to inform the governor of New York that Santos' former House seat was now vacant. Of the previous expulsions in the House, 3 were for disloyalty to the Union during the Civil War. The remaining 2 occurred after the lawmakers were convicted of crimes in federal court. Santos made his case for remaining in office by appealing directly to lawmakers who worry they are setting a new precedent that could make expulsions more common. Johnson was among those who voiced concerns about removing Santos, though he has told members to vote their conscience. Others in leadership agreed with his reasoning and opposed expulsion. But some Republicans, including Santos' colleagues from New York, said voters would welcome lawmakers being held to a higher standard. "I'm pretty confident the American people would applaud that. I'm pretty confident that the American people expect that," Republican Representative Anthony Desposito, whose district adjoined Santos, said before the vote. Santos warned lawmakers they would regret removing a member before they have had the day in court. The expulsion was the final congressional chapter in what was a spectacular fall from grace for Santos. The first-term lawmaker initially was celebrated as an up-and-comer after he flipped a district from Democrats last year and helped Republicans win control of the House. In early March, the House Ethics Committee announced it was launching an investigation into Santos. Then in May, the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Eastern District of New York indicted Santos, accusing him of duping donors, stealing from his campaign and lying to Congress. Prosecutors would later add more charges in an updated 23-count indictment. The indictment alleges he stole the identities of campaign donors and then used their credit cards to make tens of thousands of dollars in unauthorized charges. Federal prosecutors say Santos, who has pleaded not guilty, wired some of the money to his personal bank account and used the rest to pad his campaign coffers. Among other things, the committee said Santos knowingly caused his campaign committee to file false or incomplete reports with the Federal Election Commission, used campaign funds for personal purposes and violated the Ethics in Government Act with his financial disclosure statements. While the committee does have a Republican chairman, its membership is evenly divided. Representative Susan Wild, the top Democrat on the committee, reminded members that the decision approving the investigators' findings was unanimous. As the Ethics Committee's report lays out in thorough detail, Mr. Santos has repeatedly, egregiously and brazenly violated the public's trust, Wild said.